Hi, this is Mark Triplett with Triplett Westendorf Financial Group. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to share a little bit about our purpose and timeline philosophy that we apply to retirement income planning to help you retire with purpose on time. And we really believe that every dollar has a purpose and every dollar has a timeline for which it will be used for that purpose. And we start by really identifying what are those needs. What are the basic needs just of existence in American life today? You need food, clothing, shelter, water, utilities, all of those things just to sustain yourself. They don't necessarily make life really, really enjoyable, but it is required to sustain your lifestyle. In addition to that, there are probably things that folks want to do. And those are the things that maybe make life a little bit more exciting and fulfilling in retirement. Now, the wants are things that we can maybe forego if the economic circumstances warranted us to pull back on our spending, but it's not something we really want to do. The basic living needs are things we have to have regardless of what happens to the economy. Then we have what I call the non-negotiable wants. And these are the things that you don't necessarily need them to sustain your life. But frankly, if I told you couldn't do it because the economy was bad and your investments had lost value, you'd be pretty upset with me. For me, a non-negotiable want would be skiing. If you told me that, Mark, you can't ski this year or this season because the economy's bad and we got to pull back on our spending, I'm going to be pretty upset. So those non-negotiable wants really need to be part of the need. You really have to account for that with good sources of income coming into the household. And lastly, we have things that are left over, money that we might not need for anything. It could be our legacy dollars, maybe charitable giving, money that is truly liquid because it's not been allocated for anything specific over a particular timeline. Now, the first step for us in our planning process for using purpose and timeline is really to figure out what are our income sources coming into the household. If you're fortunate enough to have a pension, that's a good baseline level of income. But beyond that, we have Social Security, for example. And you'll notice that Social Security here is staggered just because usually one spouse turns on or claims Social Security at a different time than the other spouse, whether strategically or just by happenstance. Now we have to determine how to allocate the assets, the retirement assets, that throughout this timeline, depending on when we need it and what we need it for. So in this particular case, money that is needed between the first 1 to 3 years, we have to have that in some place where it's liquid, accessible, and we really can't put it at risk. So a good place for that might be in a bank account or CD, online money market or something like that, where we know we're not going to earn a lot of interest on that money, but we know it is going to be consumed in the near future, and thus it must be available and ready to be deployed. Then we have money that we might not need for 3 to 10 years. And those 3 to 10 year dollars, they have a very specific purpose, maintaining our lifestyle, but also a very definite time frame of 3 to 10 years. And we have to put those dollars in a place where we can't lose it, but we might be able to earn some more interest on it by giving up a little liquidity. So these are dollars we don't really feel safe putting in the market, because if we went into a market downturn, and from the peak to the trough back to the break-even point, it could take 4 to 7 years or more. We don't want our clients to be in a situation where they might have to sell at a loss. Therefore, these dollars have to be in a place we consider to be safe, maybe a little less liquidity because we don't need it right away. And we'll use strategies that we call loss avoidance strategies, for example. Then we have money that we really don't need for 10, 15 years or longer. Those dollars we're okay taking moderate and managed risk in marketable securities invested in the market. Okay, we're okay with that because if we go into a downturn, we have plenty of time to wait, and we're not really worried specifically about that market downturn affecting the client's lifestyle or the ability to maintain that lifestyle. We don't want our clients ever to be in a situation where they're forced to make a decision to sell investments at a loss during a downturn, or pull back on their lifestyle and basically create a reduced lifestyle for a period of time waiting for the market to come back. And by structuring dollars and allocating them across these spectrums based on the purpose and the timeline of those dollars, we can really insulate our clients from a situation where they feel like they can't spend and maintain their lifestyle if we go into a downturn in the market, because their dollars that they need in the next 1 to 10 years are in a place that is unimpacted by market performance. So finally, we might end up with a situation due to inflation that over time we need to add guaranteed lifetime income to supplement Social Security and pension. So you'll notice here that inflation actually is increasing the cost of living, goods and services, at a faster pace than what Social Security's cost of living adjustment is. And pension, if you're lucky enough to have one, most of them don't have a COLA or cost of living adjustment. Some do, some don't. But oftentimes the cost of living is increasing at a faster pace. So some point down the road, maybe 10 years out, we might need to actually supplement retirement income from Social Security and pension with additional guaranteed lifetime income. And that's another tool that we could deploy, thus pushing off the investable assets further into the future and for purposes that are not necessarily as definite, more of the wants and maybe legacy. So by doing this and by structuring our planning this way, using purpose and timeline to direct dollars on where to go and how to be allocated, we can really structure a plan for our clients that immunizes them from big market downturns. Now, the trade-off is we're not all in the market all the time. That means that our clients don't get full participation in the entire marketplace because some of their dollars are frankly sheltered in areas that they know they can't lose it because they're going to have to spend it. But this allows us to create a little bit more confidence and consistency throughout retirement, as opposed to really having to ride those emotional swings of up and down marketplaces, still taking advantage with our long-term dollars being in the market, but putting some dollars in a place where we can avoid losses during a downturn and have a pool of money to go to during that downturn, so we're not forcing our clients into a position where they have to sell at a loss or reduce their lifestyle. I hope this is a helpful explanation of our planning philosophy called Purpose and Timeline at Triple Westendorf. If you have questions, you can reach out to one of our team members and schedule some time to have a discussion further about our philosophy, our process, and just what it's like to do business with our firm.